G'day everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I've got a very special video. We're going to be going through, we're going to be starting a new series called the Beginner Tips series for every region / continent of the world. And today we will start with Latin America. I'll just show you some locations and give you some tips on how you can figure out which country it is out of all the ones that have coverage in South America, Central America, Mexico and the Caribbean. And yeah, let's just get started. So first off, we'll start in Brazil. Brazil is, first off we'll have excuse me. First off, we'll have red plates on the commercial vehicles. That's a very good clue that you're in Brazil. Red plates on like vans, trucks, things like that. That's going to be Brazil, red plates. And in general, just talking about plates, the plates are generally very long in Brazil, which is not very common elsewhere seen in Latin America. Usually in Latin America they have shorter plates, but yeah, here we have like a really long elongated plate. These are the old plates, just the plain white ones. The new ones, I think I have it somewhere. The new ones have like a blue strip along the top, like sort of running like that along the top. I don't think I have like a plate here, but yeah, that's what they look like. They have like strips across the top. That's a Brazilian plate. Also, poles, they can be round with white at the bottom, but that's not the most common pole. I'll come to the most common pole just in the next location. And yeah, they can have Gen 4 cam as well, which is this like brighter kind of camera with blue car usually. And yeah, that's one way for Brazil. And here is another location. This one is Gen 3, so Brazil can also have Gen 3. But the most iconic Brazilian pole is this one with these sections in it and with some dots at the top. It's made of concrete. This is a Brazilian pole, which also looks similar to the Portuguese poles, because actually also they speak Portuguese in Brazil as well. Portuguese we usually have a lot of like some common ones are like C's with little tails. That's a Portuguese letter, not found in Spanish. Also AO suffixes, so owl is quite a Portuguese thing, not very common in Spanish. So that's some ways you can get Portuguese. And this little stubby antenna with like one rib on it, that is a Latin American antenna, and you'd find that in Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia and Mexico. So if you see this antenna, you can be in one of those 4 countries, and you can use these other clues to figure out which one. And also, Brazil has pretty red soil, I'd say. And yeah, that's probably what I've got to say for Brazil. Moving on, we are now in Argentina. Now, how do I know this is Argentina? Well, first off, can also have Gen 4 cam, blue car, pretty bright colors. So the Gen 4 cam is found a lot in Argentina, pretty common. But this is a good one here. This is an Argentina plate. It's white, short and white, with a black dot in the middle. These are actually the old plates. The new plates are like the Brazilian ones. They were white with a blue strip along the top, like a horizontal one across the top. That's the new Argentina plates. But Argentina plates are generally a lot shorter than Brazilian ones. As you can see, they're a bit shorter and more square here. But yeah, that black dot is what you see through a blur, and another one there. And yeah, this is just what it sort of looked like. And yeah, that's like Argentina for you. And here's another location for Argentina. This one has got some good metas, so they also can have Gen 3 camera. But this is the black car here. So this is the back of the car, like we're driving on the right here. This is the back of the car. And if you see a black Google car, Gen 3 car, in South America, that is found in Argentina, Uruguay and Peru. So if you see this car in South America, you'll be in one of those 3 countries. And also Argentina uses double yellow lines. So does Brazil pretty commonly. So they're both pretty common in both those countries. But this is a good one. This is an Argentina pole. Sort of looks like an A, if you know what I mean. And it's got all these big concrete blocks like running as like the A bits. Like along it. That's an Argentina pole. Keep in mind though, you can occasionally see this pole in Brazil, but it's most commonly found in Argentina. And these are called some more generic style of Argentinian poles. And yep, a pretty European looking sort of landscape as well, kind of flat. And you see this landscape, it's probably just Argentina or Uruguay, which you'll find here. Uruguay is a very distinctive country. It's sometimes been mixed up with Argentina, But usually in Uruguay, sorry, we will have the black car, as I just said. Argentina, Uruguay, Peru. But these thick wooden white signposts, this is a very good meta for Uruguay. The only other country that can have sort of similar ones is Bolivia, but we'll come to that just a little bit later on. But yeah, these are white and thick, and these are very indicative of Uruguay. Also, trident sort of pole top, so there's like these 3 points, like the taller one in the middle. That's a Uruguayan sort of more pole top. That's pretty common there. And also this road line combination with the white dashes and yellow solid. That combination in South America is found in Argentina and Uruguay. But if we move over to like here, for example, we can see that now we've got double yellow with a white dash in between. This combination is only going to be Uruguay, never going to be Argentina. So you can instantly get Uruguay with all these clues here. And also, I think I can walk down here. All South American countries plus Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico will say pare on their stop signs. Whereas in Central America and Mexico, they'd use alto, like this. So this is pare. This is found in all South American countries and yeah, Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So yeah, you're going to be in one of those countries in these regions. And yep, that's all I'd say for Uruguay. And also, it's pretty overcast coverage as well. So if you see pretty overcast coverage, it's a good chance you're in Uruguay. Okay, next one we'll go to Chile. We'll go to this location first. So in Chile, you'll have the white Google car, which is not black, it's white. And if you have the white Google car in South America, that's going to be in Chile, Bolivia, and Peru. Peru can have black and white Gen 3 Google car. So keep that in mind. But if you see this like black sort of thing on the car, then that's way more Chilean. I don't really see that much at all really in Bolivia or Peru. So that car is exclusively Chile. Also, these are Chilean poles. It's kind of hard to see here, but they've got this sort of indent in them. They kind of look sort of similar to Brazilian ones, but they don't have those like horizontal section separators in them. So they look similar, but it's just like a long indent. That's a Chilean pole. Also, another good meta here is these are all white road lines. As you noticed, in most countries in the Americas, you'd have white outer lines and yellow middle lines. Whereas Chile, they use all white road lines most of the time. In more southern regions in the country, you can have like all yellow road lines, but most of the time you just have all white road lines. And if you're in South America, you're only going to be in Chile. Keep in mind though that sometimes Argentina can sometimes have all white road lines, but they have the black car, so it's a bit different there. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about this one, I reckon. And here's another location in Chile. This is Gen 4 cam, so Chile can have Gen 4 cam. I think Gen 3 is more common though. And yeah, plates are sort of like not much to say to them, they're kind of just short-ish sort of. This is a Chilean taxi with the orange plate and the yellow and black body. Orange plates in South America on taxis are found in Chile and Ecuador. But yeah, this is a Chilean taxi with a black and yellow body. That's only going to be in Chile. And yeah, that's probably all I've got to say about this one too. And that's Chile. Okay, next up is going to be Bolivia. So Bolivia very, very commonly has a lot of red brick buildings, like a ton. Like there's just pretty much every house in Bolivia will be just red brick. Also the plates, as you can see here, they're actually bluish, they're blue tinted because the text on the plates is blue. They're also short like other Latin American plates. But yeah, the point of this is just tons of red brick buildings. I know Peru can sometimes have some red brick buildings as well, but if you see this many, you should just be in Bolivia. Also, not to mention, we have the white Google car too, which is again Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. Here's another location in Bolivia, and as you can see here, kind of bluish license plate, a bit bluish tinted if you can see on the video. But also, as I was saying, in Uruguay, these thick signposts are found in Bolivia. They're not as white as in Uruguay, but they are thick, sort of like in Uruguay. So they look a bit different to Uruguay ones, but saying they're a good meta for Bolivia as well. Also, just the landscape, very hilly / mountainous place, and yep, that's probably all I've got to say about this one. Also, kind of a bit more poor looking than other places, and yeah, that's what I'd say about that one. Next up is going to be Peru. So Peru, as I said, black and white Google car is possible. Here we have the black one. We're in a very dry part of Peru here. It's very Peru is also a very, very mountainous country. Like there's just mountains all around really. There's only a couple spots where it's flat. It's usually generally quite mountainous. This is like 3 sort of like concrete juts all running in the same direction. That's a Peruvian pole top. And yeah, sometimes you have these brick houses as well. And that's good meta for Peru. Here's another location in Peru. This one, we have the white Google car. Some more good metas for Peru is tuk-tuks. If you see these like auto rickshaws, whatever you call them, tuk-tuks. If you see these like vehicles, tuk-tuks or auto rickshaws in South America or Latin America, you're probably going to be in Peru, as it's pretty common to see there and not very common elsewhere. Yeah, tuk-tuks good meta, and again, some of the brick buildings around. And yeah, that's probably what I've got to say about this one. Alright, and the last location in Peru is Gen 4, so Peru can have a bit of Gen 4 as well, but I think Gen 3 is more common. But the metas I wanted to point out here is these black and white signposts. These are a very, very good indication that you're in Peru. These like zebra stripe signposts. In Latin America, only place that does this is Peru, so a very good meta to be there. Very mountainous, as I just said. And yeah, as you sort of see these Peruvian poles kind of here again. And yeah, their road lines are sort of, they can just use just the standard white and yellow. Same with Bolivia, just same white and yellow. So yeah, that'll be Peru for you. Okay, next up is Ecuador. So in Ecuador, backs can commonly, but not all the time, be teal, like this kind of green. It's a good meta that you're going to be in Ecuador. Also these white bollards with 2 red reflectors on them. You can have variations of this, but this bollard is Ecuador, and you can have some other ones. So pretty much if you have white bollards with red on it, you're going to be in Ecuador. Also we have this antenna, as I said, Ecuador, Brazil, Colombia and Mexico. And yeah, generally quite hilly. That's what I would say about Ecuador. Here's another location in Ecuador. Alright, so Ecuador has Gen 3 only, and so does, well, used to, and Bolivia only has Gen 3 as well. But Ecuador now got what we call this like crap camera, which is like this sort of, it's like this poor quality third party website sort of camera. It's like this like really weird quality, like it's like this new coverage they use instead of Generation 4. They use this weird quality camera. But the point is, Ecuador has some of it, and it's the only country in Latin America at the moment that has it. Maybe some other countries will get it, but at the moment, it's the only one that has it. But it is found in other places around the world, like India, Nigeria, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, all those other places. But yeah, in Latin America, it's only going to be Ecuador. Also, these taxis, as I said, orange plates are going to be in Ecuador and Chile. But as you see, the tag is yellow. That's pretty common to see around. Some of them can have white plates, but most of them will have orange plates. Ecuador also, with their license plates, they can have either short or long license plates. So they can have both. Like this one's a bit longer, this one's a bit shorter. This one's a bit longer, that one's a bit longer, that one's a bit longer. But yeah, they can have a bit of a mix and some short. So they can have a mix of short and long license plates. And yeah, this is what I'd say about Ecuador. And the third location in Ecuador is about, again, we have this like stubby antenna, 2 ribs on it, long license plates with some short ones as well. But this pole here, this like what we call like a ladder or like waffle or section pole with like 7 or 8 sections in it, that is an Ecuador pole for when you're in South America. It looks quite similar to like Spanish, French poles, but this doesn't look like Europe. This is obviously like South America. And but yeah, if you see this kind of pole here with lots of sections, this is going to be an Ecuador pole. And also the hexagonal kind of pavement, you know, with like hexagons with like 6-sided pavement. This is a very Ecuadorian thing, not exclusively to Ecuador, but you know, it's common there. It's sometimes can be found in other Latin American countries, but it's pretty Ecuadorian, I'd say. Okay, sorry guys, I've had to record on the next day, but anyway, we are here. We are now going to be in Colombia. So Colombia, as you might know, has got some pretty famous metas. First off, yellow plates on all the cars. If you see yellow license plates on like passenger vehicles in Colombia. Also Gen 4 is pretty common there, usually have the white car. Also we have this very famous clue known as the Colombian cross, which is where you have a white sign back with this like cross, if it will load, with a cross on the back of the sign. It's got like, so you got the signpost and you got like another cross on it, which sort of makes a cross thing. And pretty much on all backs of signs you have this like sign that, like that, like a cross. You can see it there as well, and they're over there as well. But you can have similar ones in Brazil, but as you remember, Brazilian sign backs are black, so it should be easy to tell them apart. Shouldn't really mix them up. Colombia also uses yellow taxi, so that's pretty good. And also they use these yellow and black markings on poles. So that's all I probably have to say about that one. Yellow black markings pretty common in Colombia, but can be found elsewhere, like in Peru I think can have it as well, but mainly it's a Colombian thing. And our other location here will be a Gen 3 location. Colombia can have Gen 3 as well. As we see, here's a good example of the cross, as you can see, that's a good example. But I told you about this antenna. Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil have this antenna. But if you have the black car with the stubby antenna, that's only going to be Colombia. That's not found in the other 3 countries. And yeah, generally a pretty hilly country. And yeah, that's probably what I'd say about Colombia. Right, next up on the list will be Panama. Panama, as you heard, got new Gen 4 coverage very recently, so not too long ago at all. So you might already know some of the metas. We got this kind of front of the car with this antenna with about 8 or 9 ribs on it. It's got lots of ribs on it. Also, these are Panama white with a green strip running across the top. Those are Panama. We found anywhere else in Latin America. Again, they're short, which is pretty common in most Latin American plates. And yeah, that's probably what I'd say about that one. And yeah, it's going to give me Gen 4 cam. Also remember, Alto is what's going to be on stop signs now in Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Mexico. Whereas Pare is going to be in South America, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. So yep, that's going to be that first Panama location. The second one is just another example of another car meta you can find. This is the white pickup truck, which you can in Panama and some other places around the world. We'll discuss those in future videos, but if you're in Latin, you're going to be in Panama. So yep, that's all I've got to say about that one. Next up, we got Costa Rica. Now, Costa Rica is an interesting one because there's no actual road coverage in Costa Rica. At the moment, it's all just Gen 3 Trekker cam. There's mainly just trekkers around the capital city of San Jose, of Costa Rica, which is San Jose. But there are some random trekkers around the country, I think. But this is like an average sort of San Jose location. It's just some random like guy with a camera on his back walking about on the sidewalk. And yeah, you can't get on the road. If you try to click on the road, but you can't, and you're just gonna be stuck on the sidewalk. And yeah, and you have short plates on the cars again. And so you know if you know it's Latin America and you're in Trekker cam, Gen 3 cam, you might be in Costa Rica. It's not that often it comes up, but when it does, it can get some pretty nice points. So yep, that's probably what I've got to say about that one. Right, next up on the list is going to be over in Guatemala, which you guys might know has a pretty famous car meta. Which has this Google car. It's got the mirrors on the side and then these roof racks. This is a Guatemalan Google car, house in Kyrgyzstan, but we'll discuss that in future videos as well. But if you're in Latin America and you have this car, you're going to be in Guatemala. Also, Guatemala has short plates most of the time. I think pretty much all the cars have short plates. And yeah, as I said, Alto is going to be on the stop signs. Now, we won't have like Pare or just stop. We'll have Alto or Alto or however you say it. They'll be on stop signs now. And yep, that's probably what I'll say about Guatemala. Alright, next up, we are in Mexico. So as I've already discussed before about some Mexican clues already with relations to the other countries. But here is our first location, which is just in Mexico City. And by the way, Guatemala only has Gen 3 cam, Gen 4 cam, so that's how you can tell maybe them apart. Anyway, it says CDMX on it, it's pink and white. This is a Mexico City taxi. Gen 4 is pretty common in Mexico. They speak Spanish here, of course, this is Latin America. Coca-Cola things are pretty big in Mexico. They love their Coca-Cola in Mexico, but it's just common there because a lot of Latin American countries like Coke, but Mexico particularly like it. And yeah, that's probably all I want to say about this one. They have short plates in the cars, like literally all the cars have short plates. Usually they're quite colourful and has some sort of colour to them, and some states have very specific plates, but yeah, they're usually short with some sort of colour on them. So that's going to be Mexico there. And our other Mexico location is going to be this one. This one is a this is another Mexico location. This time it's going to be Gen 3, which is, I said, can be found in Mexico. Mexico can actually also have Gen 2, so Gen 2, 3, and 4 are all found in Mexico. And even a tiny bit of Gen 1, you know, but that's pretty rare. It's mainly just Gen 2, 3, and 4 in Mexico, as it got Google Street View a bit earlier. But for some reason, I don't know why it's not loading. I actually pull it up in Street View if this won't load. But this is just trying to show you a Gen 3 location in Mexico. So here we are. And sometimes, as I said, you can find that stubby antenna in Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia, and Brazil. But sometimes the stubby antenna can be absent, as you see here. It just has a brake light on it. You can also get that in the other countries as well, those other 3 countries as well as Mexico. So, you know, it's not just a Mexico thing. But the main thing I wanted to tell you is this Mexican pole. This is actually a very good meta for Mexico. As you can see here, it's kind of like octagonal shaped. And these octagonal shaped poles are most commonly found in Mexico. Occasionally can be found in Colombia as well, but most of the time you should just be in Mexico. Also, black water tanks, kind of an underrated meta. If you have to feed black water tanks, you should be in Mexico. And yeah, that's probably all I've got to say about this one. So, yep, that will be it. Next up, we're going to go to the Caribbean now, because we're done with all the main Latin American ones. We're going to go to the Caribbean islands. A couple of them do speak Spanish as well. Just let it load. So yeah, out of all the Caribbean, Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico speak Spanish, as you hear. Dominican Republic is just here, and Puerto Rico is over here. Another good thing to mention about Dominican Republic before I share the tips is there's only coverage out of the whole country in just 2 cities, and that's Santo Domingo down here and also in Santiago de los Caballeros up here. There's no other coverage no rural coverage all around these metro areas, and there's just nothing else around anywhere. That's all the coverage there is at the moment. They might add more coverage in the future, but at the moment there's only coverage in those 2 cities. And the car meta is pretty famous. You've got a white front of the car with these very interesting roof racks. So you got these roof racks here, 2 of them, but they've got this like black sort of rubber between them or something like that. This is a Dominican Republic Google car. If you see this one, you're going to be in Dominican Republic. Another good thing to know is that most of the cars won't have front plates. Pretty much all the cars won't have. And yeah, that's a good clue for Dominican Republic. Yeah, and so that sometimes they can be short or long, most of the time short, but a good thing to know they don't have front plates there either. And they speak Spanish here, of course, so yep. Next one is Puerto Rico. Now if you guys didn't know, Puerto Rico is actually a US territory, but they had US and Spain had disputes with them, so they actually speak Spanish here. So it's actually an American sort of feeling sort of place. But Puerto Rico, actually they speak Spanish there. And if it will pull up, no it won't. Sorry. But in Puerto Rico, they say pare on their stop signs, same with Dominican Republic. But the car meta is totally different, which I'll just show you in a moment. So here we are in Puerto Rico, which how you say it? I don't say Puerto Rico, I say Puerto Rico. So let it load in. As you can see, cars also have no front plates. So both Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico have no front plates on the cars. As you see, none of the cars have front plates here at all. So that's a good tip. Also the car meta, as we say, you have this antenna here at the front right of the car. The rest of it's just blurred, and you have this black antenna at the front right. It's found in Puerto Rico, but it also can be found in Guam and Northern Mariana Islands, which are 2 other US territories in the Pacific Ocean. We'll talk about them in later videos too. But this white dot here is exclusive to Puerto Rico. You won't find this in Guam or NMI. They speak Spanish, and yep, no front plates, and that's probably all I've got to say about this one. So that's Puerto Rico for you. Next on the list will be US Virgin Islands. So US Virgin Islands is this territory just here, just next to Puerto Rico. And the interesting thing about them, they're a US territory, and as we know, US, they drive on the right. But the US Virgin Islands, for some reason, I think because it's ties with the British Virgin Islands, the US Virgin Islands, they drive on the left. As you can see right here, they're driving on the left side of the road. But this is the car meta for the southern island in US Virgin Islands, because the other islands have coverage too. This like red truck with these license plates will be short like other American countries, but you'll be driving on the left. So it feels quite American, quite islandy, but you're driving on the left. So yep, that will be US Virgin Islands. Here's another location on one of the northern islands. This one has got, as you see on the southern island, you've got this red car, which I think you can actually have another sort of car there too, but up on the northern island here, which I'll just open up again, you can also, you have this other car, because you can actually even use the metas of the two cars to tell each other apart. Let it load in. So here's another car meta they have here. Again, we're driving on the left, we've got yellow lines. And we got this white car here with a white sort of thing here actually. So the other one was black, this one's white. And they have this antenna here as well, but it's white instead. So that's another good meta for US Virgin Islands, just another car. And yeah, the stop signs will just say stop, they won't say pare or alto. So yep, that's going to be US Virgin Islands for you. Now we are down here in Curacao, which is a Dutch territory actually. But they do have quite a bit of coverage around the whole island, so that's good to know as well. Curacao is a very distinct place. It doesn't really look like anywhere else in the world, I'd say. First off, it's pretty hilly country. Architecture is quite interesting, like these sort of interesting sort of houses. The car meta is a bit of a giveaway here, but it's a black front with these roof racks here, Dominican Republic, but it's black front instead. And you got this white sticker on the front left as well, so that's actually a common thing to see in Curacao cars. There's a lot of this cactus around as well. So here we have some cactus. You can see it around a lot of the place. There's just a lot of cactus sticking about. Some over here as well. So we see this sort of like, and of course the language will be Dutch as it's a Dutch territory. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about Curacao. And the last one is some trekkers in what is a territory called Martinique. It's a French territory, and people don't know it's actually on GeoGuessr, but it actually is. There's some trekkers in Martinique. I'm just giving you a quick example of what they'll look like. They speak French in this territory. First one here is just in the middle of the jungle, as you can see. You're just walking about in the middle of the jungle. The second one is here. This one's just by like, I think it's by like a building or like, you know, a golf course or something. Yeah, this is like the second one. You can have a look at it on Google Street View yourself for these ones. And the third one's like just down, like walking on like a footpath down near a beach. That's the third one down here. But the rest of these blue lines is just unofficial coverage. I'm just quickly showing you Martinique, but it's pretty rare. You won't really get it that often. And yeah, you're just on a foot next to some water. And I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it, I think. So yeah, guys, that will conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching all the way end. I hope you did learn something. I hope you did enjoy. Please subscribe. We'll have the next continents coming out. We'll probably do North American parts next, like US, Canada, all those places, with some other territories as well. But yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.